if you struggle with oversharing, then this is valuable for you to help you understand why it's difficult for you to overcome that struggle. So if you know that you overshare because you feel awkward when there's a moment of silence during a conversation with another person or with other people, it's very important for you to start identifying people in your circle that struggle with the same problem of oversharing. Because if you make friends out of people who struggle the same way you do with oversharing, then that is where you perpetuate the behavior. You continue fueling the behavior of oversharing. And this is what I mean. Say, for example, I know I overshare because when there's silence in the conversation, I feel the need to fill that silence very quickly because it makes me feel uncomfortable. It makes me feel anxious, tense. So if I meet you and you struggle with the same problem, then when there's a moment of silence, both of us are going to compete to fill that silence because it makes us feel awkward. And then one of us is going to win and say, I'm the one who won, and I carry on the conversation. You're going to catalyze it because now I've taken away that opportunity for you to fill the awkward silence. And so I'll go on and on and on and share a lot of details about myself, intimate details about myself. And it will make the conversation take too long than we had initially anticipated, and we'll both feel exhausted. But also, we don't want to get to a point where it's again awkwardly silent and we have to say goodbye and part ways. So we keep pushing the conversation until both of us get completely exhausted and it's really late. The external factors now that are pushing us to actually stop the conversation. Not that it was interesting, but just that we didn't want the silence. And so you can see how two people who both struggle with oversharing can make a conversation take too long and make the interaction very exhausting. And so once we part ways, I'm the one who overshared in that conversation, you didn't. And so I'm going to feel very embarrassed afterwards of the details that I shared. And I might not even remember all the details, but I know that I shared a lot that I shouldn't have. And so now, to recover from the embarrassment, I'm going to try and mitigate it using texting. So now I start using text to communicate to you. And the goal is to use it for a short period to allow me to get out of the embarrassment and then resume the face-to-face interactions. But then I start getting comfortable with texting you and you get comfortable with texting me. And so now our interactions are on text because now I can control the awkward silence. At least if you ask me a question and I don't know how to answer it, I can take time before I can reply in the message. And without knowing it, that becomes the nature of our interactions in the relationship, in our friendship. And so I'm not getting practice to learn how to stop oversharing. I've reduced the opportunities for me to learn how to stop oversharing. And that continues to perpetuate. So the next time we have to meet, because eventually we have to if we want to keep the relationship going, the next time we meet, first, I'm dreading to meet you because I know I shared a lot last time. Second, I know I'm probably going to overshare again if there is a moment of awkward silence. And I really want to exercise control over that, but I haven't learned how to because I wasn't practicing. And so the next time we meet, I do the same thing again. And this time I feel even worse. And then I go back again and I use texting to help me recover from that oversharing. And then it becomes a vicious circle. So I do it, I do the oversharing, I get embarrassed. I try to recover from the embarrassment by creating distance physically, so we don't have physical interactions, but we still continue to emotionally connect through messages. And then once we have to meet physically, I embarrass myself again, and then you see how that keeps going. And so you want to be able to identify people in your circle that enable you to overshare, that facilitate oversharing. Because if the same conversation, there was someone who doesn't feel the need to fill the silence, they might actually make your need to overshare a conversation in a very comfortable and safe manner, such that you don't feel the need to give so much detail to become the source of comfort, to become someone who eases discomfort that is not there, but you perceive that it's there. And so when someone doesn't have the need to overshare, they will tell you, I don't feel uncomfortable with the silence, or let's just be quiet for a minute. And they'll say it in a way that makes you feel comfortable, that puts you at ease, so that you don't have that need. So your interactions and the people you keep around you might struggle with the same problem that you do. And so because your problem is manifesting more frequently, more intensely, in a longer duration, then it hides theirs, but they're also struggling with oversharing. So look at your friends. They might be keeping you stuck in that loop of oversharing.